You should release that like 2 years from now.
No, I think we're just gonna upload it to Spotify too. Why not? Make it like episode 10.5 or whatever my most recent number is, and we can just go from there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Conversation Pit. This time we're actually in the Conversation Pit itself, which is so interesting. Finally, great to be back here in home base. We just recorded an episode outside. Will's is whispering. Finally, just recorded an episode outside that there was a bee. There was the bee incident. I think
Paul said a lot of things that he regrets. He apologizes for to the bee community.
To the bee community, yes, of course.
We're just comedians. We're free speech.
In cars, getting coffee.
It's all about free speech.
All about. I'm a martyr for free speech. Me and Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, man, Jordan Peterson, man. Getting banned off Twitter, man.
Getting off of Twitter, man. Me and Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, we're just two comedians. We're pro free speech. You can't say anything anymore.
Can't say gay. Not in Florida.
Not in Tallahassee. I tried. I was in jail for 3 days.
They put you in the gulag.
We'll be.
You were there with Mickey Mouse.
We'll be. If you're a member of the Patreon, we'll be videos of me in a Florida jail. After I said gay, right to Ron DeSantis' face.
Right in his ugly mug.
Right in his face.
I'm just gonna move this a little closer to Will.
You can
so
see
Will
that
can
and
be
much
heard.
more. You can see pictures of Paul in the luge.
In the what?
In the luge.
Luge? I'm luging?
In lewd positions.
I'm a luger, actually.
Yeah, it's his luge training. That's what he did for Sober October. Defeated Joe Rogan, Ari Shaffir, and Brett Kreischer this Sober October.
Yeah, that's fine. Can you just turn that dial all the way to the left?
All the way.
Dehumidifier. It's gonna be a steam room in here by the end of this. We had to turn the AC off. We had to turn the dehumidifier off. It's all right. How does it feel to be back in the pit, Will?
I don't know. It's your fucking childhood bedroom. I don't
That's
know.
not true.
It's your second childhood bedroom.
That's also not true.
It's your upgrade from your childhood bedroom.
I moved into here out of college.
It's his post-school bedroom.
It's his post. It's his post 4-year trip room.
I was just constantly in a daze.
It's when you were unemployed. You were unemployable, and now look.
I was a deplorable, actually.
You were deplorable. You were one of the basket of deplorables. There's a 4-time Trump voter. We got here, Paul Riley.
How do you vote for him 4 times?
I don't know. You tell me. You've been on the voter rolls twice.
I illegally.
Owner of a Crystal Hood 8 Series TU8000 Samsung.
Hood? Ultra HD, maybe?
Hood. Owner of
a lonely heart. Much better than the owner of a broken heart.
Owner of Goodbye, Christopher Robin.
Never watched it.
Owner of a 7-piece queen comfort set. That should be the entire podcast. It's just naming things in the room.
Remember the time you were just touching shit on my dresser? You're just involving yourself in all my.
Oh yeah, the foot duster. I was the only person that found that comical at all. You were upset. Who was here? Oh, you were upset. Ryan was just like, I don't know what Will is up to. And then PJ was just thoroughly confused as to why I was just touching your stuff.
Do I go into your room and touch your shit when I go to your house?
We've probably been in my room twice.
I've been in your room more than that.
Yeah. I don't know.
The only things I felt comfortable handling of yours was in your room.
Is there
Two
something
things.
that we
No,
don't...
I availed myself of your record collection. We were showing each other.
Yeah, the only things that I touched was the foot duster.
That's fair.
The foot duster and the hemp hand cream. The Darnell Rollins.
Oh yeah, Donnell, yeah. I bought some things over in Iceland that maybe you'd like to take a look at.
You bought records in Iceland?
Of course I bought records in Iceland. I just got back from an Icelandic vacation. We have BB King. Here, I'll just hand the stack to you.
BB
Go
King in
back
London. I think I have BB King in London.
I'm really getting into the old rhythm and blues.
The
BB
King,
King,
the
Muddy
Commitment.
Waters.
The Color of Money.
Yeah.
That's a cool one. Billy Joel, 52nd Street. The Allman Brothers being the
It's
room.
Lulu's favorite band right there, the Allman Brothers.
She loves the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, when I would pick her up from
Freight train, each car looks the same.
when I would pick her up from
Is this like a bootleg or?
I believe it's I bought it at a reputable store. When I pick her up from either the groomers or when I pick her up from school or wherever, easy that look. She's kind of an antsy dog being in the car. She doesn't like being in the car. But she really likes the Allman Brothers. I think she finds it soothing.
1.9 million
1.9 thousand
ruble.
Corona.
Corona.
Oh, the Corona. Korona. The Corona.
I think I have a copy of BB King in London.
I wanted to get more BB King, but they didn't have a great amount. I want to get there's an album that is called Together for the First Time Live. I love BB King's live albums.
Yeah, I think that's the way to get.
Yeah,
BB King.
you know, him in studio is obviously great, but so
I have a cool.
it's him and Bobby Blue.
I have a cool like original Chessman Records pressing of a Howlin' Wolf record.
Ooh.
That's like, but it didn't come with the. It has like a fake sleeve.
Like an insert of some sort?
No, I think the original sleeve was like eaten away.
They were all just paper, you know?
Yeah, I found a copy once of Simon and Garfunkel, like a Japanese pressing, orange vinyl, but there was like nothing left of the sleeve, like mites or something, or mice had eaten.
Oh, that's upsetting.
Yeah, but it like the pressing itself was in very good condition. They were asking far too much money for. You know,
I mean, so I'll try to give you the rundown of what these items cost me. You know, because I think to see 3,900 for the BB King and the Commitments albums, they don't make a lot of sense, right?
how much is that in American monies?
So essentially, 1,000 krona is $7.50. So 4,000, $30, $32, which that's a lot. But it was more for like, now I can say I bought these things over there. You know, the Color of Money was like 15. The Billy Joel's 52nd Street, that was I got that for a great price. I think I have 2 copies of this now though, because I think I just bought another one. Yes, I did. I actually I bought another copy of this at Bull Moose recently. This exact same album.
I was probably there for that.
No. That was like last week.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Do.
I'm usually with you with the most crazier purchases.
Oh, I was like, what the?
I can't wait. I've got so many Bull Moose points. I'm gonna walk in there and buy like a console for
Buy
half
like the
price.
entire thing.
That's how many points you have saved up?
Oh my god, yeah, I got like probably like $500 worth of like their points. So you can basically what I'm gonna try to do is when like the next console gets released or something like a big purchase that I want to make from a place like that, I'll use the points and you're able to get, you know, if it's like $500 worth of points, you get a $500 item for half price. Imagine walking out of there with a PS5 for $250 as opposed to $500.
That's a smart play.
That's the move.
Do they have? So what's the deal with the PS5 now?
Can't buy them in a store still.
I have fallen off of whether or not they're available since I bought mine. I don't see the need to track it. It was just such a stress-inducing, series of events. But yeah,
I remember. Didn't you buy it and then it like kicked you out of the car? Was that you?
A couple of times, yeah.
Yeah, I know that happened to like a couple of my friends.
And then I finally was able to get one from Best Buy around here, and then my father had to pick it up for me, and I had to pick it up the next weekend that I was coming back home.
Thankfully, the only time that I ever tried to get into the Target restock succeeded, ran away.
Never again.
Never
This
again.
asshole, I'm outside smoking a cigar in the backyard. And I got a FaceTime from Tyler, of all people. I was like, what the hell is this? And he just like slowly turns the camera to his passenger seat. And I see the bag for the PS5 and I was like, oh, you can go to hell. You can go to hell. I think you've been like waiting for a restock for like 3 days. The restock happened and you were able to get it.
Dude,
Yeah.
I remember like it was worse than the Wii. I'm trying to get a Wii.
Remember how, oh my god, the Wii situation was awful. Awful. all the casual gamers that wanted those.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, people still use Wii's. There's like old folks' homes that like
Yeah.
they have like Wii bowling night and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, it's crazy how that console like
Transcended.
And took on a new life.
Yeah.
You know?
Even like, man,
Do you
it's
want
almost,
a chair? I feel bad you have to sit on my bed.
no, I like this. I can like,
It's a very comfortable bed. You can recline a little bit.
I can
In
recline.
your throne.
I can see where the king sleeps. You know, where kings sleep. You know.
I gave my mom so much shit for buying that. It looks like, to me, it looks like all this furniture looks like repurposed wood, but it's actually like the mattress itself.
But
is
that's what you
incredibly
want for a
comfortable.
podcast, right? Is repurposed wood. Isn't that the whole thing? Is like podcasters have like
Like their
rooms
studios, yeah.
with wood that was from a barn in like Oklahoma. Or
Yeah,
Indiana.
that's a good point. Yeah, maybe that's why this place is such an excellent place to record my podcast.
Yeah, you get that energy. You're like
Jordan Peterson.
You're like
I'm like Jordan Peterson.
Joe Rogan, man.
Joe Rogan, man.
It's me, Joe. That's one of the best. That's one of the funniest impersonations of.
Yeah, I mean Tim Dillon's not much of an impressionist, but when he does them, they're all heaters, just like that.
Dad's got a chainsaw going.
No, it's probably a neighbor.
Yeah.
My dad's just outside, just committing
Going
mass
crazy
genocide.
with this.
He's just killing everyone. in my
After
neighborhood.
seeing that those guys' curls.
Takes his weed
The
whacker,
Jerry
starts chasing.
Those were like, dude, those were like straight up.
Perm.
No, it wasn't even a perm. It was a bad perm. It was a perm.
It was like Ron Jeremy hair.
Oh
man. Yeah. So Tyler's here as well. What's going on in your corner of the world?
My corner of the world, I mean, I'm in Maine. Nothing's really exciting up there.
No.
Other than just like
Boy, that state fucking
a
sucks.
bunch of nothing, a bunch of,
That fucking state sucks.
every once in a while there's some crazy shit that happens
It's a
and
chill
it's
place.
like,
And you get well, I mean, it's a cool place to vacation, like some people, but I can't live there any longer.
Can't take it anymore.
everyone seems surprised I grew up there my whole life.
I feel like around Portland's Portland's a happening place. There's all sorts of Paul. You can speak to this as being a.
I orbit around Portland, yes.
It's a very interesting. There's a lot of.
Yeah, but the last thing you want to do is spend more time there, you know?
You don't want to get down.
You don't want to be a part of what's going on there. There's a cultural revolution going on up there.
Yeah, there's a real revolution, all right, yeah.
Me and my people are gonna come up there. We're gonna take over.
What people are those?
Me and
His people.
my group.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Maybe you'll find out.
Might meet
Maybe
those
you'll
people.
see. Maybe you'll see my face one day while you're working.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say to
You're like, you don't know
Dude,
whether to be
you're
concerned.
reclining like Jabba the Hutt right now.
You
This
didn't-
look.
You
This
just
is a
did.
look. This is a whole look.
You didn't know if this was something that you should be concerned about or you should be excited about. You
Oh,
couldn't
I'm not
pick between
excited.
either
I'm
or.
concerned. I'm very concerned.
We didn't
Yeah,
know
no.
what
Concerned
your
for the
thought
future.
of
Me and a certain resident of the Portland area are gonna be in your office, making our mark. Sorry, I gotta take out the body armor. Gotta defend against the different maladies that are circulating this room.
Yeah, right?
These Maine people, they have all sorts of, foreign maladies.
Well, I probably brought something. I'm surprised I didn't get, like... Tim and I drank water straight from a stream while we were on a hike.
Yeah, but dude, it's like from a glacier.
Yeah, but it's also, like... It was in an area that there was a lot of foot traffic.
Oh.
Yeah, so, like, runoff... I was worried about runoff, but it was fine. It was very pure.
You probably have some weird brain eating.
Don't say that.
shit eating.
Don't say that.
No, you probably don't. It's probably, dude, it's like literal glacial water. Like
Don't
you're up
say
near
that.
the Antarctic.
Jesus Christ, that makes it so real.
No.
Is that why I've been losing all this weight? Do I
No!
have a brain-eating parasite?
No, you don't have a brain eating parasite, dude.
Yeah, but
Dude,
how would you know?
Because parasites usually live in warm places.
Oh, okay, then I was fine.
You just had a
not warm.
I
moment
mean,
for like,
I mean, like, that's usually the rule of thumb.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you hear about someone getting parasites, you don't hear about getting them in, like, when people go to, like, Aruba. Not even Aruba. It's usually, like, people go to, like, Southeast Asia.
and they like don't really know what they're doing. So there's a way, like, obviously to not get stuff like that. But it also comes from just, like, I know, like, my mom's boss, like, back in the day, he got wicked sick when he went to India to meet with a client. It was because they don't pasteurize yogurt, and he, like, didn't understand that, so he, like, ate the yogurt at the client's, like, dinner, and was like, this is really good yogurt, and then they were like, yeah, this is unpasteurized, and he was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, and then got, like, wicked sick, because he didn't think, you know, that maybe I should have checked first, and said, you know what, I'm not used to eating that stuff, like, because there's a way to be that's, like, not, like, completely insensitive and, like, a piece of shit.
Right, but you basically, you know, if your body is not used to the the food. I mean, and that's like think about the shit that Americans eat. I mean, we're incredibly our bodies are so intolerant to natural food.
Yeah.
That it of course it causes an issue. But yeah, I don't know. That just made it really real for me. Hearing that, you know, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have drank straight from a stream.
I mean, like, what kind of was it, like, from a glacier? Like, do you know the source of the water?
Yeah, it was all runoff from a glacier.
So, like, that water is gonna be, like, I mean, they bottle that fucking water.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, glacial water is, like, you know, like that Swiss Alp water.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, it's probably not, like, the cleanest thing. It could be clean. I have no idea. It's Iceland.
It tastes
pretty
fresh.
I mean, it's, like, running off of all sorts of rocks. There's probably all sorts of minerals in it. You know, you're probably safe. If you went to, like, the Ganges and started, like, ladling water into your mouth, like, you're just eating, like, you're literally drinking dead people. Like,
yeah, like, right down the river from the fucking, like, factories.
Yeah, from the funeral pyre and, like, the battery factory. Where, like, you know, like, all sorts of, like, mercury and lead are, like, pouring down from, like, a drain spout.
That's why I would never eat Ganges dolphin. Not because it's an endangered species or nothing, but because I don't want to get the mercury.
Oh my god. The Ganges river dolphin is still around?
Yeah. Very rare, though. They're like bright pink.
The ones in the Amazon are like, they're white.
Yeah, I think so.
Those ones are like, they'll like, they get like fishermen to drown.
What do you mean?
I watched, you know that show River Monsters?
Uh-huh.
I watched one where...
Jeremy, what the hell is his name? Wade Jeremy.
Yeah. Oh, Jeremy Wade.
Jeremy Wade, yes. Hold on. Yes, sir.
Oh, what the heck? Oh, it was his dad. I was like, who is that? What's going on?
Dinner's ready.
Oh.
We could pause this and then resume. I think there's a way to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's...
Dinner's ready. What are we having for dinner?
There's some stuffed shells.
Ooh, I love a couple of stuffed shells.
All right, let's It's fun to stay at the YMCA. We're back. Dinner was dinner. Had a little meat lasagna, stuffed shells, you know. A lot of red sauce today. We had the Tony's Pizzeria for dinner, or for lunch, excuse me. You know. Back and better than ever, though. I don't even remember what tangent we were on when we paused. Yeah, you know, the production quality, not there. I'd like to get a studio. I'd like to have a studio.
With the reclaimed wood from a barn from Nebraska.
Yeah. Perhaps
a barn that Charles Starkweather hid in.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's
You know,
what you want.
just like in that film, Badlands.
It's a good movie.
I was disappointed. I was disappointed by it. I was very disappointed by it.
You were?
Yeah, Malick is very much style over substance, and it all started with, I mean, that was his first film.
But he's also, like, he wasn't, like, I don't think he ever was, like, he was a doctor, right? He was, like, a medical student.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he was, like, supposed to be, like...
That was the kind of a film, like, okay, we watched, Tyler and I watched Thief last night.
Yeah.
Michael Mann's directorial debut. And, of course, that film was full of style.
Yeah.
But there was a plot. There was things that were happening. You know, it was... Badlands was like slice of life. Like, it was short film worthy. It wasn't full feature narrative film worthy.
Yeah, and it's not even that. It's the movie's not really that long.
It was like 2 hours.
It was. I don't remember it being that long.
So. I would like to double check to make sure.
Thief was just over 2 hours.
Thief was. Oh man, what a great film. Let's see. Movie Badlands, 1973. Oh, it's only an hour and a half. Okay, you have me there. But it was a long hour and a half because not much occurs in that film. You know, it's like he kidnaps her. They go on the road.
Yeah.
And then they're like living in the woods for a little bit there, and then they get chased away from that.
Yeah.
And it didn't, you know, I would have
How long
hoped
did you say it was?
93 minutes.
Yeah.
I would have hoped a movie like that was able to ratchet the tension up quite a bit as their desperation became more, you know, they became more motivated by desperation.
Yes.
But I don't think it did, and it's not for the lack of Martin Sheen. I mean, Martin Sheen obviously is an amazing actor, and certainly deserves credit for that role. And Sissy Spacek is okay, you know. But it was just like, I don't know. It didn't grab me as much as I was hoping it would have. I'm happy that I've seen it, and I own the Criterion Blu-ray, and you know. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I bought that one on a suggestion from you, and I'm not saying it was a miss, but it was. I've also seen so many unbelievable films for the first time in the last, you know, 2 years during COVID that one just seems to have missed the mark very slightly.
Yes.
You know, it was like I think I gave it like a 3 out of 5 stars. So it was like a B. It was like a high C or a low B kind of a film for me.
Yeah, it definitely is like slow.
And I have no problem with slower movies, you understand. It
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I do. I think like the setting is cool, and obviously I think it's is it Martin Sheen's like one of Martin Sheen's first movies?
it might be his first.
Yeah, so it's like definitely a debut of many, like a lot of the people involved.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's like it's a cool story.
Oh, I gave it 3.5. Okay.
Yeah.
But it could have been like a 4 if it didn't feel as empty.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
feel like at the beginning, like it's okay, but by the end, it's like
It has run its course.
yeah,
Yeah. The beginning, and then, you know, and then when they're hiding out in the woods, those sections are good.
yeah,
And then when they do the home invasion and they hold that gentleman hostage in his home, like that's really good. But it's all the stuff in the middle. It's all the I don't want to call it filler because it's not. There's just nothing else there.
yeah,
You know, and it could have been an amazing 30-minute short film at a breakneck pace. It would have been very different for 1973.
yeah.
Right, because again, you have to take the cultural norms of film at that time. But I don't know. I felt slightly let down by it.
Yeah,
Slightly.
yeah. It's a good movie though.
It is.
It's a good watch.
It was enjoyable.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah, I mean, just for the car alone, 59 Cadillac Eldorado.
Yeah,
I would love to get my hands on one of those.
yeah. I like the scene. There's like that scene where like he's like shooting in the desert, like or kind of like in the like the prairie.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of visually. That's like a very good.
Oh, I mean, and that's the thing about Malick. His composition, his ability to pull back from his actors and really let the landscape
Yeah.
dominate the frame. You know, it evokes the classic westerns of old. You know, I get a very much I get like The Searchers. You know, that final shot of The Searchers with John Wayne walking out the door. You know, I understood what he was evoking.
Yeah, and I think that's what's cool about it is
Yeah.
it's like that kind of movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it has stuff in it like that, but it's a very much like a slice of life like movie about the 50s.
Yeah, and it was also, I mean, it was relative. I'm not going to call it progressive for its time, but he was on that cutting edge of the new wave of cinema that was coming up with all those young directors of the 70s.
Yeah, and you can definitely see his influences.
Yes.
A lot of first movies you can see who they're influenced by.
Yeah.
I've noticed that because they're just like this is the first.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen Thief? Michael Mann's Thief?
No.
I wish, because I don't know what to liken it to. It was so interesting. I don't even know how.
Similar to the movie Robber.
Robber? Oh. I don't.
Burglar. Imagine that's the name
The
of
name of the movie. It's just a poorly translated
version of.
Yeah, it's you know, like the Iranian version in Farsi. It's robber. is the name of the movie. And James Caan
It's man that breaks into building and steals things.
Man who cracks safes.
Man who cracks safes and steals things. You know, it's a good movie. There's a good movie with Clint Eastwood, and he's like an art thief. Have you ever seen this? And he's in someone's safe, and he sees someone like kill the president or like the vice president.
What?
Like he witnesses a murder.
Clint Eastwood?
Yeah, it's I forget the name of the movie. He's in the safe, and he's like breaking into this person's house, and he hears all this noise, so he like shuts the lights off and like hides.
I gotta look this up.
Mr. State Trooper. Would pull me over.
92 years old. Wow. Let's see if I can find...
Ray Liotta said he was like the worst actor that he'd ever worked with.
What, Clint Eastwood?
Yeah. They probably didn't get along.
The dogs. Dogs upstairs, you know? Man, I don't know. Oh, that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. Okay, good. Meg just texted me, and I just had a small heart attack.
I almost did too.
Meg, we're getting dinner with Meg and Josh tomorrow,
Oh.
and I saw their message. She just texted us saying, "What time are we thinking for dinner?" And my heart sank, and I was just like, "Oh no, I forgot about dinner." But no, it's tomorrow.
Why don't you find it while I use the lavatory?
Yeah, go for it.
Keep
Don't
everyone...
touch the table, Aiden. Just slam it. Letters from Iwo Jima. I've heard that's a great film, actually. Clint Eastwood's safecracker movie, Absolute Power. When robbing the home of an aging billionaire, Luther Whitney is interrupted by an amorous couple entering the building. As Whitney hides, he sees Sullivan's young wife and the U.S. president. When their affection turns violent, Chrissy is killed by the Secret Service. Whoa. Ed Harris is in this? Oh, it's got 56 on Rotten Tomatoes. Not good. Not good. Not good. Not good at all. It's Absolute Power, a 1997 American political action thriller produced, directed by, and starring Clint Eastwood. As a master jewel thief who witnesses the killing of a woman by U.S. Secret Service agents, the screenplay by William Goldman is based on the 1996 novel Absolute Power by David Baldacci. Screened at the 1997 Cannes Film Festival, this film also stars Gene Hackman, Ed Harris, Laura Linney. Let's talk about Laura Linney for a moment. What kind of 90s film star Laura Linney? She was in Frasier. She was in John Adams. She's in Ozark. You know. All of these things. She was in Primal Fear. She was in Mystic River. She was in... I didn't know she was in Nocturnal Animals. I've been meaning to watch that film. Judy Davis, Scott Glenn, and Dennis Haysbert. It was the last appearance of E.G. Marshall. I found it.
Yeah, Absolute Power.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like not like well rated, but I think it's a good movie. Like it's like a fun, even if you only watch it once. Like Gene Hackman is the president.
Mm.
Sorry, Tyler.
You're
That's
good.
fun.
I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, it's like Gene Hackman is the president, and like, yeah, because he robs that billionaire's house.
Yeah, I was reading
That
those.
soap is like so pungent.
I just smell cigars on my hand.
Yeah, I can smell the cigars and the soap mixed. It's kind of pleasant. It's got like a lavender, like cedar lavender.
Mm.
Dude, those cigars, like the Monte Cristos, they smell so much like cedar wood.
I honestly think we should have smoked the Monte Cristos.
And saved the Partagasses.
The 2 Monte Cristos that I have loose
Yeah.
in the.
Well, you
humidor
gotta
that I
take one of
gave
those,
you.
right?
Well, I'm not letting you have both.
No. That's what I was I was asking.
I think we should. I think I'm coming home next weekend. What's my plan for next weekend?
Yeah, I'm gonna be
I don't have plans next weekend. Next weekend I can come home. The weekend following that there's a Revs game, so I'll be home for that. The 29th, 30th, and 31st. The 22nd, 23rd, and 24th I have to be in Maine. And then August is weird.
August I'll be doing nothing.
Well, we have Bill Burr.
Yeah, that's right. We have Bill Burr.
Billy
Yeah,
Freckles.
dude, we're gonna go alt-right Bill Burr. Can we just talk about how ridiculous that was? Without giving away any context.
I don't mind giving away a little bit of context. I mean, this is somebody who openly did this on Twitter. It wasn't like it was.
It became private though.
Well, I mean, I didn't want it to be. We can discuss the broad strokes of it. I have someone in my life who I regard with high esteem. And when I mentioned that I was going to see Bill Burr at Fenway, Bill Burr being the first comedian ever to play Fenway, it was going to be this amazing thing.
And can I just say, I think it's just worth going.
If only for that reason.
And only for that reason. Like, he could get up there
and bomb.
And just say, like, verbal diarrhea. And I will have said that I was at one of the worst comedy shows of all time. It was the first one at Fenway. It was like the first game at the stadium where the Patriots played. What was it called?
Before Gillette?
Before Gillette.
Foxborough Stadium?
Before that, there was another... Schaefer Stadium.
Oh.
At Schaefer Stadium. Like, it just like, you could say you were like, like your 109-year-old, or 100 million year old, like, great-grandparent went to the first game at Fenway. You know what I mean? It's just one of those moments, like, I was there, I can say I was there, and if it never happens again, my stock goes way up. If it continues, I can say I was at the first time. It doesn't mean, it's just like a weird fact.
Mm-hmm.
But he could get up there and say verbal diarrhea, and I would not care. Like, I honestly wouldn't care. It would still be a great time.
Yeah.
We're going with great people.
That's the other thing, right? I mean, I think we've put together a solid group.
To go. People who are going to enjoy it. And even if it's like, even if, like, you can't hear him, or there's, like, things going on in the crowd that are... That's what I can't wait to hear people, like, shout and, heckle and...
Dude, from where we're sitting...
There's going to be all sorts of a menagerie of just crazy.
But also, I mean, those tickets, even though we're not on the field, they were not cheap.
Yeah, and they're not bad seats.
The question becomes, the tickets that we have, I mean, like, who's going to pay that much money to be a drunk asshole? I think we're going to...
You'd be surprised.
I mean, I guess so. I think
be
we're
surprised.
Gonna be
I know people that saw, like, Dead and Company there that paid, like, crazy money for their tickets. And they watch people get thrown out, like grown adults getting thrown out for smoking, like, pot. Like, on the field at Fenway, they were smoking joints.
Smoking doobies.
And, like, vaping. A lot of people were vaping. He said a lot of people were vaping, like, THC vapes or whatever. I don't even know how to, like, I don't even know the technology behind any of that stuff. But, like, I know, like, he said people were doing it, and he goes, it was very funny.
We could vape some weed. Nothing wrong with a little bit of weed.
Yeah, but there was security everywhere, and they were just kicking people out.
We do a little bit of
But okay,
weed.
continue with your story.
And, so, where was I going with that?
Someone that you regard in your life.
Oh, yeah,
highly.
somebody that I have high regard for.
Shut the door. It's going to get hot in here.
It is going to get warm in here. It's already getting a little warm.
Yeah, that's because of Tyler's fault. It was kind of funky.
Somebody that we hold in high regard in
Or
my
you
life.
hold. I don't know him.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I do. I don't want to loop you in with all this. I mentioned on Twitter that I was going to this show, and this individual got a bit perturbed, I think is a good term.
Yeah.
At the news. Basically told me that I was supporting... I don't even remember what the... Do you remember what was said? I don't even remember what was said.
So he was
I
like...
just blocked it all out,
He was like, something like about Ben Shapiro and such, and then you responded and were like, Bill Burr is, like, apolitical. I think he's funny. Whatever. I wouldn't be, involved in that kind of stuff. XYZ.
Which is funny because if you looked at I follow Ben Shapiro on Twitter, which maybe that caused it. Maybe he thought I was...
Dude, millions of people follow him.
Yeah, I follow him.
I follow him
to point and laugh.
That's such a like. Yeah, I mean that's such a benign thing. It doesn't mean anything.
You know who else I follow on Twitter or did follow on Twitter?
Who?
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Before he got kicked off.
Yeah, I mean
Jordan Peterson.
You also probably follow like, like the Speaker of the House or like CNN.
Unfortunately, yes, I follow Nancy Pelosi on Twitter.
Yeah, so it's like
because I'm hoping one day she fucks up and puts what she's doing for stock trades on there.
Yeah, I mean like whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's not a big deal. And so he replied, the show is actually tomorrow night, that we should see the one, the only.
You could have said any comedian.
He literally could have said, you should go see
Adolf Eichmann.
Yeah, like you should go see, like I don't know, Carrot Top. And it would have been fine. Oh, wait till Paul comes back. And they'll reveal who the person was. I don't know where he just went.
He had a phone call from somebody. It was a call for Mook.
It was a call from Mook.
And Lulu.
Oh, they wanted to come downstairs. The dogs will be joining us soon. Mookie Man. So Mookie Man's gonna hear the who this is. The one, the only Bill Maher was his suggestion.
And it, like,
playing tomorrow night in Boston, apparently.
How much are the tickets?
We can find out. Bill Maher.
Of all fucking people, you could have told me to go watch Adolf Eichmann try to do stand up. I don't give a fuck.
He's here from the 7th to the 10th.
But Bill Maher is a loser.
Dude, the tickets are at the Wang. They're $85. That's a lot of money to see Bill Maher. Yeah, I would pay no more than $50 to see him.
He's doing Foxwoods. He's got Foxwoods on the 13th of November.
I've seen some of his stand up. It's not good.
No, he's not a comedian. He tries to be fucking smart.
It's like the worst bits of Bill Hicks and George Carlin, like mixed together.
Yeah.
It's like the worst George Carlin bit that like your uncle throws up and was like, look at George Carlin owning the libs in 1995, and it's like, it's just George Carlin talking about like the 7 words you can't say, or like whatever that bit was. It's just that for an hour, and it's smarmy and it's not funny.
I don't like to be made to feel belittled.
No, and that was like Norm Macdonald's thing with Bill Maher, was that like you're supposed to be an idiot. Like comedians are supposed to be stupid. You're supposed to be the everyman. No one likes someone that's smarter than them. That's not how you make people laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Is being like the guy that knows you have the secret. And that's what's wrong with all these comedians who have podcasts who think they're like, like people think they're like these intellectual.
The Red Scare.
No. Like Joe Rogan, like people legit think like Joe Rogan is like some sort of like prophetic.
He has it figured out. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, like
it's disgusting.
These people are supposed to be stupid. They're not supposed to know everything.
The only reason you should watch Joe Rogan for is for the guests, and just hope that he doesn't step on the guests.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I mean, he hasn't had anyone interesting on in a long time.
I know. Well, because he got all that blowback for the Spotify deal.
But that's kind of past now. I think it's more so blowback that Spotify has him on. I mean, he had Alex Jones on for the first one, right?
Yes, he did.
And that one got taken off. That was like the second or third time I'd heard of Tim Dillon. Before it was like I hadn't really heard much of him before that.
I knew of Tim Dillon, but I think one of the first time he was on with Joe before.
Yeah.
Like, I have to give Rogan credit for that. He introduced me to Tim Dillon.
Who's actually funny. One of the few people that he's actually introduced that's like actually funny.
Yeah, and because also Tim Dillon doesn't try to hitch his cart to that wagon, so to speak. Tim Dillon is willing to stand on his own 2 feet, which all those other assholes like Brian Callen and who's the dude that wore the spacesuit? Tony Hinchcliffe. You know,
Tony Hinchcliffe's actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
He's kind of funny. Yeah, but he could have said anyone. I mean, Bill Maher's been on the Joe Rogan podcast. They're like buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to part of that. I liked when Joe was like, you know, you're really like the real you're like a real liberal man. You're like a liberal man, Bill Maher, man. And it's just like, dude,
you're a real liberal man.
I don't know. It's just very foolish. Bill Maher is just very, very foolish. I hate that show. I can't believe I still watch that shit. It's so fucking infuriating.
You're poisoning yourself.
Well, it's not even like I don't get any, like, I don't learn anything from it.
No.
It's just like he just comes on and says something a Republican like 5 years ago would say about like SJWs, and then like applies it to like millennials or like Gen Z. But that circles us back to our little issue with your friend, your pal. Is he really went to bat for Bill?
He just was a dog on a meat wagon. I got probably fucking 2 weeks worth of texts out of him.
And like,
wouldn't give it up.
I loved how he defended Anthony Cumia after defending Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Who's like,
talk about the pendulum swinging the other way.
Yeah.
Cumia is an actual fucking menace.
Like, wasn't Cumia like accused of like grooming?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of like fucked up. He's like fucked. He had like Compound Media had a bunch of like. He kicked like that guy who had the Red Band like radio show that's like actually kind of funny because he just shits on all these podcasts like comedians like Bert Kreischer and like Tom Segura, like these people who like think they're funny. And Brendan Schaub. Have you ever watched that guy stand up?
Oh, he's such a fucking meathead.
Dude, it's awful. He had another special that came out, like Gringo Poppy or whatever. I don't even know if I can say that without getting canceled. But like...
In 2015, he was arrested by Nassau County Police on charges of strangulation, assault, criminal mischief, and unlawful imprisonment.
Oh, that's nice.
And after an argument with his girlfriend.
Cool. I love that. We love that. No, and like he was like defending him. I don't know. It was just very weird. It was very, very weird. He's a weird guy. And like, I don't know why your friend would defend him if he was like talking about Bill Maher. Also, Bill Maher has said the N-word on live television. And you know what's crazy about that clip?
When I sent it to him, and he was like, "Oh, I love the fucking mental gymnastics." I sent that to this individual, and I was like, "Here's why I don't like Bill Maher." And he says, "Well, it was like he was trying to make it sound like he was using it in jest." It's like, I can't.
You couldn't say that.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't say that.
And I haven't said that.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that's just like, oh, he was using it in jest. But if I said that in a room full of people, that would be suicide.
Mm-hmm.
That would be and it should be suicide. But it's like, why would you think to like? That's just like so brain dead.
Why do you carry water for that too? Like,
yeah.
Why do you? Isn't it easier to just say he made a mistake by making and that got past censors?
No, because the show's not live. It's taped.
Yeah, that got past censors. He went into an editing room and said, "Leave that in."
He's like, no, because he's like that's the whole bit is the free speech thing. It's just a cover so you can just be like a moron.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially what it is. Is just like you like hide behind free speech. When
what did he say? He tried to make it. He tried to make some argument with some other figure. Like, oh, he was doing like such and such. He made it about Malcolm X. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
In his text to me, it was like a fucking. It was like a two. It took up like two iPhone.
Did you delete the receipts?
I my text delete after 30 days.
That's a smart thing.
Yeah, fucking.
We don't want to see that shit.
I don't want that shit.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, he was saying it because like Malcolm X. Malcolm X was trying to make because he said he calls himself a house. Insert here. And he's like, oh, he was using Malcolm...
to a sitting U.S. Senator. Yeah. And I don't care what you think
Poor
about Ben Sass.
Poor man.
Like, when you have someone like, I'm not out here saying, like, if you have a problem with, like, a politician, you should, you shouldn't be nice to them. If they're like fucking you over or doing something that's like hurting you, you should tell them how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and that's like in that moment they were like being cordial. Like even if you're talking to a regular person, if I said that joke to you, how would you feel? Would you be embarrassed?
Yeah.
Would you be angry? I've said stuff to you like before, like we've had conversations and I've told jokes probably that you didn't like or you wish, like, man, there's been times when I've been around people where like, man, I really wish that person didn't say that. And you get like embarrassed and you're like, I don't really want to be in this situation.
I don't know how to interface with this. This has changed my thinking, sort of a thing.
Yeah, like that's like a shitty thing to do to someone, especially someone he probably doesn't know well, who he'd probably just met, and met 5 minutes before in the green room, shook his hand, said, "Nice to meet you, Republican."
We're gonna have a great show.
And then walked out, and then the next episode, he had Michael Eric Dyson and like Ice Cube on.
And Ice Cube's like, "Man, you're not racist."
No,
it's like, maybe
Ice
he's
Cube.
not, but
no, Ice Cube.
fuck you.
Didn't Ice Cube go out and be like, "I was waiting for you to do it"? That's what he said to him.
Jesus Christ.
That was mad funny. He roasted him for it, and he should roast him for it because it was a stupid thing. I
don't think saying that word makes you a racist, but I think it makes him a really, really bad fucking, like, he has bad decision skills.
And it also makes him a shitty person for what he did to Ben Sass.
Yeah, putting Ben
and then
Sass
what he should have done was said, I'm going to cut the entire Ben Sass thing. We're going to re-edit. I'm going to come out and say, look, I said this word, and I regret saying it. It wasn't in good taste. It was poor decision making. And you know what? I get free speech and all of that, but it wasn't right. It wasn't right. I made Ben Sass, I made a sitting U.S. Senator uncomfortable. I made a human being uncomfortable. You shouldn't do that to anyone. But instead, him being like thinking that free speech is just this like psychotic thing for you to say stupid shit and not have consequences, because like that's definitely not how freedom works.
Freedom does not come without consequences.
Yeah, just because you're free to do things doesn't mean you're free from the consequences. Like I'm free to like drink and smoke weed all day, but like when that starts
sounds like a pretty good Saturday.
Yeah, I know, but like when that starts inhibiting, like when Saturday is every single day of the week, like that kind of inhibits you like trying to like actually like function as a human being. You should have to face the consequences. Yeah, like you should have to face the consequences of that.
Yeah,
like you don't get off scot-free from being like a moron. But that's what really rubbed me the wrong way. And he did that with the stupid fucking shit he said about 9/11 that he shouldn't have said. He went out and he's like never apologized for that, which he should have said.
Did he apologize? He did something the episode when he had Ice-T on, and it was like, didn't he just like double down?
Yeah, and then they canceled the show, and then they
No, not the 9/11 thing. He went out after the Ben Sass thing, and I'm pretty sure he did the same, took the same page from the same playbook, just doubled down on it. He's like, yeah, I said it. What do you want me to do?
No, he said it was
here's 1,000 reasons why
he,
I'm a good person.
I think he went out in the monologue and did that, and then had Ice Cube and Michael Eric Dyson come out and basically tell him how much of like an idiot, because he's still a liberal, so he has to do that weird thing where like I feel guilty even though he's like an asshole. So he's like it was very contradictory. Yeah, I remember that. He came out in the monologue and was like, I made a big mistake. Whoop-de-doo. And then like the two people came out who like actually were offended by it and were like, why the fuck did you say that?
Right. Which
they have every right to say it's fucking stupid. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that was worse than the Joe Rogan thing. It was more embarrassing, and it makes him look worse than Joe Rogan. In my opinion, anyway. I think
Joe Rogan thing.
The video of him saying it like all those times, that compilation that came out in January.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah, but like just
he doesn't try to walk. He doesn't act like he walks on fucking.
But
water.
at least he came out and said, "Yeah, I should have never done that.
Yeah,
that was a terrible thing." And that compilation had been out.
Oh,
I'd seen that like 4 times, and we knew like, yeah, it was fucking stupid. But to me, I think he handled it better, and also I think the instances were, to me. When you watch there's a reason why it's not on YouTube anymore. There's a reason why you can't find it on YouTube, and people keep reposting it and it gets taken down. Because it's like maliciously uncomfortable. Like Bill Maher is like nearing the point of being. I would have to say that he is being malicious, because he's talking to a Republican. Republicans, they have a sort of, in America at least, they have a sort of, tag of being racist.
Mm-hmm.
There are elements that, of that, whole organization that may be truly racist, and those things have manifested in different places,
Mm-hmm.
And so for him to go out there and say that to a Republican, senator from the heartland, he knew what he was doing,
Yeah.
and he was being malicious. When Joe Rogan said it, it's like, yeah, Joe Rogan said something fucking stupid. Like, yeah, I'm good, you apologized. Awesome, man. Just be better next time. With Bill Maher, it's like, I agreed that they should fucking pull him and beat the living fucking shit out of that guy. HBO should have said, no, you're done. We're not doing this. Like, we're not doing this.
I can't believe that makes much of any money.
No, it's HBO. Dude, they make money on fights. They don't give a fuck. His show is funded by everyone that gets HBO Max, so they can watch UFC and fucking, like, when...
You can watch UFC on HBO Max?
I don't think you can anymore.
I don't think you can anymore.
Oh.
But, like, like, they get money off the fights, when, Wilder fights, whoever, whatever the big fight is.
Yeah,
and that's where they make their money. They don't need...
They had a Game of Thrones. They can survive 15 years of Bill Maher just losing money.
Yeah.
Yeah, hemorrhaging.
And, I don't know how many fucking people even watch that show. It's a weird fucking show.
I mean, I thought he was smart when I was like 15.
Yeah, but everyone thinks the new atheists are smart when they're 15. And then you realize they're just a bunch of, like, angry men who just hate Muslims.
It has to come from a place of anger.
Yeah, I mean, look at Richard Dawkins. He's like, how do you know that the flying spaghetti monster is real? You grew up in a Christian household. That poor girl asks him, what if you're wrong? He goes, what if I'm wrong? I can never be wrong. I measured the tongue of a giraffe to prove evolution. And it's like, does it really, like, then when you realize, like, in the hierarchy of things, realizing that if, like, God is real or not is, like, one of the, whatever, if you want to believe in that stuff, but it's not on my Pavlov's hierarchy or whatever, the hierarchy of needs to, like, find out if that's true. I'm just trying to wake up every day and not die. You know what I mean? And these people are like, who cares if God is real, dude? Like, they're debating, like, at the height of that shit, that was, like, the height of the fucking economic collapse. And like, Richard Dawkins is on TV with Bill Maher talking about how God isn't real. Like, who gives a fuck if they're, like, billions of people are wrong about something? Let them believe it. No one cares. Like, none of that stuff even has to do with their religion anyway. So, like, because they were all in on the terrorist stuff. And Sam Harris is just so full of himself.
Yeah, he's another one.
He's in like, his debate with, like, he had a conversation or a debate or whatever with Jordan Peterson. Everyone has debate. Debates are worth. Yeah, it's, like, so stupid. He makes Jordan, like, honestly, like, if you don't like Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, I would watch that, and then you will like him. Because Sam Harris is, like, a dick to him. He's like, there's slavery in the Bible. I'm like, dude, the Bible was written in, like, 1 AD, you moron. Like, what do you think was going on then? They were singing Kumbaya and everyone was free? Like, we didn't go backwards to get...
The life expectancy was, like, 35.
Yeah, like, we progressed forwards to the point where slavery is in mass not seen... A relic. And it's still around today, don't get me wrong.
Fucking Hillary Clinton in Libya. Dumb. Dumb move. Dumb move taking out Gaddafi. You know what you got us? You got us. I can pull my phone out,
Did
right?
you say that again?
Oh my god, they're listening.
They're listening.
They're listening.
Hillary's listening.
Hillary's not happy that I just said that. No, in Libya, since they killed Gaddafi, it's a failed state. You can pull your phone out right now and watch live slave auctions in Libya right now on, like, Reddit or whatever. Not a great thing. So yeah, okay, but largely this is a relic of a bygone, more barbaric era.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I kind of stepped on your bit.
No, but, like,
I love how you were reclining to start, and then slowly, but you rose, and you were in full.
Yeah, I'm like Christ. I rose.
You were sat up. You were sat up erect. and you were just fucking hammering this.
No, it's true. It's
you were
like,
absolutely, you carry every episode, but you were carrying this one for sure.
like, I don't know. It just feels like so disingenuous. It's just like, yeah, like I get it. Like terrorism is bad. Like, you know, the evangelical people who want to convert gay people is bad. But like,
You don't
you don't have
no
to
argument
shit on.
from me that the people like the snake.
Well, that's just
Pentecostals.
that's just dangerous.
Yeah,
That's just fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Georgia, one of the most like probably one of the more religious states, or what used to be one of the more religious states in the union, but like most of the southern states had to ban Pentecostal snake handling because it's so fucking dangerous, dude. When you're like grabbing a rattlesnake by its tail and like flinging it around at people, like giving them the Holy Trinity. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be legal. But no, it's just like you're belittling. Like I don't go around and like, you know, like people have different political. I don't belittle people. It's like belittling. Like who cares?
It's like it's what I said at the beginning of this. I don't like Bill Maher because he makes me feel belittled.
Yeah.
I don't like to be made to feel belittled.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy that. I don't want to walk into a place and have the person at the front of the room pretend like, and I know he's not smarter than me. That's the other thing. It's one thing if you go to a lecture and you have a
like Stephen Hawking's is like
beep boop 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 beep bop boop boop beep boop.
the center of the universe is in the middle of my left toe. If he said that, I'd 100% believe it.
Yeah, because he's Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
You know,
but if Bill Maher said that, I'd be like, get off the stage.
He has credentials. You know, he has credentials. He has accolades. He's walked that walk to back up the talk.
Yeah.
Bill Maher is just a fucking court jester. And it's the same problem that I know you have with all those other comedians that act like they figured something out. Or people think that they figured something out.
But, okay, here's another thing. The other day, yesterday...
It's not like I wouldn't watch... It would be one thing if I watched a Madeleine Albright fucking, lecture on foreign policy.
Yeah, I might not agree with everything she said, but at least
But I know she's coming from a place
she has the bona fides.
Exactly.
To fucking back it up. Well, it's like the other day... yesterday I went on YouTube.
Bad bitch central, Madison Albright. She was a bad bitch.
Yeah, she was.
She was a bad bitch.
She was throwing it down.
Oh.
The stories about her in the hot tub with Barbara Walters and
Barney Frank.
No,
Barney Frank with his pierced nipples.
Barney Frank and a Gorbachev. You know, in the hot tub.
Brezhnev just slanging fucking, just throwing back the vodkas.
The other day, well, it was yesterday, one of my recommended YouTube videos was a Breaking Points video.
Oh, no.
And it was, a show that is, like, slowly deteriorated into...
I feel horrible.
Why?
I really was rooting for them. I was.
It got weird. But it gets weirder. It gets weirder.
It's weird because of the shit with Kyle Kalinske.
No, well, it's not only weird.
That has made me to feel uncomfortable.
Well, you know what? Good for them. I think they're a good match. It's not that, but they are starting to bleed into the... This is what I don't like about the comedian thing, is it starts to bleed into, like, that YouTube comedian podcast, like, weird space.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a thing with Andrew Schultz, who, to me, do you know who Andrew Schultz is?
For the name.
He's a comedian. He did like the Brilliant Idiots podcast with Charlemagne, which is funny. It's funny. Him and Charlemagne are funny. I've always thought they were pretty funny. But he was on there talking to them about why his YouTube, his new special that's coming out on YouTube is going to be uncensored. And it's like, why? I don't care that it's uncensored. I don't care. And the reasons why are stupid. It's like when Jerry Seinfeld said he can't do college campuses anymore because they're
soft.
They're soft.
No, he's soft.
But it's like, when does Jerry Seinfeld need to do a college campus? The guy's like a bajillionaire.
Yeah, right? He's on the residuals. The residuals, Kramer.
Like, he was a part of probably the most famous sitcom of the 90s. Like, this man, Seinfeld will be played on rerun for time immemorial. Like, he doesn't need to play a college campus. I remember my uncle said that at, like, Thanksgiving dinner, and we were all sitting around, and I'm like, you know, I like Jerry, And I kind of get that, yeah, maybe college campuses are a little...
Too insular. And too
yeah,
insular,
they might be
perhaps.
to some extent. To some extent, I never had that in my 4 years. I don't know if you did, but I never felt like...
when you try to push the envelope and you get you get a little pushback. I think that our place of education, not going to name any names, I think that our place of education was a little insular, a little bit. I think people were a little too protected. It just wasn't. It didn't really reflect. It didn't. College is meant to prepare you for real life, and I don't feel that any college has done an adequate job of either preparing, but also reflecting what the real world will be like once you're outside of those four walls.
Yeah, but I don't think it has anything to do with...
I think culturally it was way, it was...
Yeah, I think it's like, but
bizarro.
they're making a cultural argument that it's like, you walk in and it's like this, communist safe space where your mind will be, perverted by, postmodernist, Kabbalist, forces, and you're gonna, you go into this room and, these, neo-Marxist professors do this, ritual from the beginning of Macbeth, and they're like, toil, toil, dialectic and trouble, and you're your mind is rearranged. I think, college campuses, you live in a dorm, you do booze, and you drink, and if you really want to, if you have, the gusto, you can have, a ton of, premarital, promiscuous sex. That wasn't my real experience.
Wasn't for lack of trying over here.
Yeah, some people are better at it than others.
That sounds very nice.
It's some...
I drank my fair share. The other stuff, not so much.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I think that element of it...
Sorry, I can't really be an XM15 Bushmaster.
Yeah.
No.
Oh God! Too soon. But
ahead.
you know what I mean. I think it was insular.
But of all the times that people have said edgy shit, there was that one time where you made a comment similar to that. I don't remember what the context was, but I think you called me a Bushman of the Kalahari.
Yeah.
Which is a quote, obviously, but it was also it was a bit out there, You were pushing the envelope. I respect a man who pushes the envelope, just not when it's my envelope.
But I think it was insular in that respect. That real life when you get out into the real world is you really have no commitments, but your class, or maybe you play a sport, you have those commitments, and you just go back to your dorm room and you are kind of in that zone of kind of not debauchery, but it's more libertine than the real world is. You really can't get, with your job, you really can't get blitzed on a Sunday night or a Monday, if you went out obviously because your work, you have to be up at 4 a.m. some days. You know what I mean?
Some days.
So you can't you can't do that in real life. I think it was insular in that sense, but culturally it was not this sort of safe space or whatever. There were hints of that on campus, but there were hints of that everywhere.
Yeah.
At work, but I've never been to and I don't understand that critique. I don't get that critique. I don't understand that critique.
I think that the people who make those statements, a Jerry Seinfeld, who says I can't do colleges anymore, I think he's failing to recognize that the culture on college campuses has passed his comedy by. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, but also, why would he ever need to do...
That's not the point. His stylings are a relic to modern college students.
Yeah,
he's not funny to them.
No.
Comedy tastes change. There are younger comedians now. I'll use Melissa Villasenor as an example.
Yeah.
She's probably the only funny person on all of SNL right now. And I bet you she could play any college she wants and fucking murder.
Yeah. Yeah. But also, why is he even commenting? He doesn't ever need to go on a college campus.
That's true. When was the last time he did one? That would be my fucking question. When was the last time you did a college, Jerry?
Yeah, it was probably the 80s or the 90s.
Early 90s.
It was probably pre-Seinfeld.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100% pre-Seinfeld.
You should look that up. I wanna see if there's any... Because that was just kind of a stupid thing to say. And what does he know about being on a college campus? Like, it's just so asinine. Like, what is the point of, you know... I thought that was just a very harebrained comment.
I don't know. I can't find anything.
Ah, damn, that's too bad.
It just is. It's news stories about him not doing college campuses anymore. He gave a commencement speech in 1994 to his alma mater, Queens College. That's all I can find.
Yeah, that's probably the last time he was ever on a college campus outside of bringing his kids to school. You know?
One of his kids goes to Durham. Or excuse me, to Duke. In Durham, North Carolina.
Ooh, Duke. It's a place.
It's a place.
Coach K gone. What are they going to be now? You think they keep the legacy going? Are you, Tyler, you're a Duke fan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that about... I don't know why I remember that.
It was because my sister went there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, now that's coming back to me. Yeah. I remember Paul telling me that.
Yeah,
okay, that makes a lot more sense.
No, she went there for a little bit and then left because they tried to charge her for like 4 years of school to only go for 2. So she was like charged like double for her master's, or they tried to charge her double to go for her master's.
Oh, that's horrible. And that's a scam.
Because they tried to limit it as much as they could, so it's like, oh, you can only take like 2 classes per semester instead of like 4.
Oh, they try to like milk you for
and
money.
they tried to milk her for money, so then it's just like, oh, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And I mean, Coach K's legacy is going to be carried on by Shire.
Yeah, because he's his assistant, right?
Yeah, he's their assistant. He is like nabbing people that were like recruiting from other big name schools. So I'm not concerned about it. I was worried for myself when they lost to North Carolina, though. That was hard for me.
The real question is, how is their lacrosse program?
Terrible.
Doing?
Everything else besides basketball is awful.
That story, that was a crazy story. Paul, you ever seen like the documentary on that? I know we were alive when that was going on, the Duke lacrosse stuff.
No.
That's a good document. I forget what it is. It was on Netflix.
Oh.
It's a cool like documentary.
Sorry, I was reading a news story about a family member of mine. It's not recent.
No.
It's my
They met Jerry Seinfeld.
No, I've been trying to get the Boston Globe article about a member of my family from 2017, and I finally was able to get it.
Oh, nice.
I will say no more, because again, it's all about anonymity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these things. Can I get 2 tickets to the Minions Rise of Groupies?
Yeah, what's up with the why? People are like, that was like the #1 movie in America, right?
I don't know, man.
It made like a shit ton of money.
Memes. It's all about memes. Memes are driving fucking everything.
You talk about the TikToks and people like dressing up in suits to go.
I think so.
Yeah, and they're
suits.
Would you do something like that for a movie that you like would like seeing in the theater, like dress up in a suit to go watch it, or no?
No.
Okay.
No,
okay.
they throw bananas at the screen. They're banning people from seeing the movie. You know,
Okay.
They're turning people away that are wearing formal attire.
It's a good thing. It's you shouldn't wear a suit to go to a movie theater? Listen, audience, I don't know about y'all, but I've spent a decent amount of time in movie theaters all across our great country.
You work at one.
I did. I worked at one for a time.
Oh, you don't work there anymore?
I'm taking a leave of absence. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back. Just because work has been, my real primary job has been crazy. So I've spent a decent amount of time in movie theaters. There's a reason that they keep the lights down low. It's fucking vile. Don't wear clothes into a movie theater that you wouldn't mind burning after. Because those things are not clean. Those seats are gross. 1,000 people have sat their sweaty asses on those seats. And no one ever thought to go out with like a Clorox wipe before you sat down. So that's fucking gross. I would never wear a suit to a movie theater. Never in a million years. I don't care if I'm I don't care if I'm at a fucking film premiere. I'm not wearing a suit.
I'm glad we're on the same page with that.
What if you're at Sundance?
Well, I mean, there's the provenance of that event.
What if you're at Cannes?
Con. I'm at Con Asian Bistro.
You're in a movie premiere at Con Asian Bistro.
I think,
just don't put it on the student government tab.
I think we know there's no place for
Who did
suits in
that?
movie theaters.
When we did that for student government. We went to con as a team building thing. We were like trying to get to know each other a little better during the my sophomore year. Our friend who's a fan of the Arsenal Gunners with the glasses.
Yes.
It was his idea to go. We put it on the student government, like, the account. We charged it to student government, and then the individual who ran for that seat and won, and then made my life a living hell, and then helped the person who also made my life a living hell. Trying to be very discreet here. The person who ran for the seat without the glasses, short stuff, kind of a Napoleon complex
No,
guy.
I know.
Yeah, that individual made a big deal.
Yes, I remember this.
About the team building. Going to
and,
Con Asian Beach.
And our friend who is a Gunners fan, he was our president twice, correct? Or just once? It was my so his senior year.
Yes.
It was the Gunners.
Yeah, the Gunners fan was president for 1 year. Took over from his wife.
Yes, from his wife, which is crazy.
And was trying to hand it off.
There's a cabal somewhere. Not to shame my Gunners friend. He is a very good person. I do like him a lot. I have fond memories of him. But you're on my list of cabals. That was a cabal. And I voted for a Gunners fan, and it was a cabal.
I mean, I don't want to believe that there were any thumbs on the scales for that one, but there could have been. It's really hard, I don't know. I think it was just there was that whole organization was rife with
cabal energy.
Disappointing. The googly eyes. Talking about bubble, boil, and trouble.
The druids.
The magic, the druidic rituals.
Yeah, but that's what I liked about.
And then our
school.
friend who's out in St. Paul, Minnesota now.
Yeah.
Yeah, who always wore shirts that were too tight.
He was
He's a real fucking loser. Fuck that guy.
He was such a dick to me after my little incident freshman. Do you remember that when I fell at the Halloween dance?
Yes.
Dude, I was so shit faced. Your brother remembers it.
Jimmy?
Yeah, Jimmy was like we were down at your other the lake house. And you had gone up to get a drink, and Jimmy and Jason were Oh, oops.
I don't even have the energy to blurt that out. I don't even know how to. Well, there goes the whole ball game.
Well, didn't I say that when I said your brother? You could edit this part out.
S. Nicholas Castellanos is it high, deep drive over to left center field. Back and go.
I'm sorry.
I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith.
Too complicated.
Well, let me see if I can rewind. Okay, we're gonna pause.
Complicated to say your brother.
Maybe I can. Input level is still. Son of a. Come on, man. Maybe if I hit mark. All right. So just text me that an hour and 13 minutes into this, we got to do some editing.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry about that.
You fucking asshole.
Well, dude, I'm sorry. You're in the middle of telling a story. Was it an hour and 13?
An hour 13.
Okay.
And then you said it twice. I put my hands up and you said it again. I was like,
I didn't know what you were doing. I didn't realize it. Dude, the story's too complicated.
Let's roll it back. Where were we? All right, I'm gonna just lead you right back in. I'll lead you right back.
So we were at the lake house, and your brothers were talking to me about our schooling.
Mm-hmm.
And one of your brothers, who was a high member of the cabal. He was the president.
He was the Kleagle.
he was like the grand wizard of the dragon.
Poobah.
He was the grand exalted cyclops of the cabal.
Everyone loved Jim, Everybody loved him.
Oh God, you just said his name.
No, I don't have, it's not the name.
Oh.
It's not my family's names.
Oh.
That's not the problem. It would be naming my institution that I have a problem.
Oh.
You see what I mean?
Haven't we brought it up before, though?
I don't think we've ever said the name.
No,
Two wrongs do not make a right.
That's true. That's fair.
No one listens to this podcast anyway. Fuck it. Who gives a shit?
So
I name dropped RM hard at one point, and I was like, if I ever see him on the street, I'm gonna murder him. So who cares?
No. So like we were talking about our schooling, and he had remembered there was an incident at the dance. So I had drank a lot on an empty stomach.
Crevassier?
No, it was vodka. It was like some cheap vodka.
Ah.
And I took a couple hits out of Zane's. My roommate at the time, I can say his name.
Yeah.
You're fine.
His little.
It's a first name too, so it doesn't give too much away.
Out of his like vodka bottle, and he was like, "Dude, like I don't know if you should do that." And I'm like, "Oh man, I'll be fine." And then like a couple sips in, I could feel myself slipping into the ether.
Down deep.
And then we walked down.
Darker
and
than
like
a
I just
steer's
fell
thickest
in
on a
front of this
moonless
kid
prairie night.
who played hockey with Paul. I fell on him. I don't remember who it was. It was someone that who played hockey with you. He was a nursing student.
Oh, probably Jeff.
Yeah, it was because he lived across like the hall from me.
Yeah, okay.
And I fell on him.
Jeffy.
Yeah, he was a nice kid. He kind of kept to himself.
Great guy. Yeah, he kept his own counsel.
Yeah, and so I fell on him, and then they kind of carted me off. Well, they were gonna take me to the hospital, but like I wasn't, like I was with it, and I was nice. So security was like, we're just gonna take him back to the room, and if he we'll put him on across the hall in the futon, because the people that lived across from me and my roommate, they had a futon, and so I just slept on the futon, and like I just threw up all night, and then I woke up and I was like, holy shit, like I'm alive. And then like, no, but he was like a dick. Like he like sent a letter home and shit to my parents and like was like such a dick about it. Cause I guess I got like really like philosophical with him. And I was talking about like different, like my roommate told me you were like, dude, you were just riffing on like all these different like philosophers.
Sounds like you.
And he was just like, it was like hilarious. Like you were saying stuff like you were like cracking jokes. And like making fun of you made fun of someone that like worked for the school.
Oh no.
And like rashed on them pretty hard, but like they didn't do anything about like they don't even like and apparently like he didn't remember because he didn't say anything to me. But like I had like a meeting with
a high up member of the cabal.
Yeah, like one of the members.
A member, probably one of the puppet masters of the cabal.
Yeah.
If not the puppet master.
Yeah, and like.
Fuck that
well,
guy.
no, it wasn't. It was just with Res Life.
Oh.
And I was like, they were like, look, like you were actually like super well behaved. Like I apologized to security. Like I went up to the security guy and was like, hey, I was sorry about the other night. And he goes, nah, man, like you were like really cool. Like, you know, you listened to everything. Like you never fought me. Like you knew you were like, you knew you were wicked, like inebriated. No, and you did the right thing. And you said, hey, like, you know, I'll just go back, and you slept it off. Like, I'm glad you're okay. Like, honestly, like, if you ever need anything again or you're, like, in a pinch like that again, like, just let me know. Because I had known people that had gotten transported.
It does not look fun.
No, it doesn't look fun, and it cost a shit ton. But I didn't get a bill for it or anything. My parents were kind of, like, my parents were more upset that I didn't tell them. But, like, I thought they had stopped sending letters home about that stuff. That was, like, the new policy. Was, like, it was more, like, privacy unless you were... you know, taken truly in the hospital. But they sent a letter home or whatever, and then my dad's like, why is there this letter? And I'm like, I don't know, like, you know, yeah, it happened. Like, I wasn't going to say anything because it, like, wasn't worth it.
Mookie's straight up eating his own foot.
Mookie's like, I'm done. Will becoming blackout. I'll eat my shoe.
And he's eating it.
He's eating it. Look at him.
Dude, that paw's getting absolutely mashed right now.
And so, like, I don't know. He it just left a bad taste in my mouth. And then we went to, in junior year, Paul, me and a few of my friends went to see him about some activities down at the lake.
Yeah.
And he mentioned the incident.
Oh my God, what was it with him and like bringing up your worst moments to make you feel belittled?
Yeah, and
he did that to me on several occasions.
And the people that I was with, not my room, the other person that I was with, he mentioned it to me after, like, yo, man, like, that was fucked up. Like, he shouldn't have said anything about it. And, like, initially, like, we all
what happened to
laughed.
fucking confidentiality?
But also, like, no, but also, I will say the person that said something to me was there that night if that gives away who it was. One of the people that was there that night, that I slept on his futon.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, man, like, I didn't think that was right. Like, you were, like, super fucked up. And, like, that was, like, 2 years ago. And, like, obviously, like, you're a very different person. And, like, that was, like, the first, like, 2 months we were in school.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't
Everyone's trying to feel themselves out.
Yeah, and it was, like, you know, so...
But he among you who hasn't violently been ill.
And, dude, and you know what the thing was? Is like
I'm not a victim.
that kid was transported, like, very early on in the semester for, like, over drinking.
Really?
Yeah, so he wasn't happy also that, because that's kind of like not something that you should.
You don't
like,
make light of that stuff.
Yeah, he was like, last time I saw you, you were very in a different, like.
You're fucking kidding me.
Yeah, he said something like that.
Dude, I wish he would say shit like that now. I would just start throwing hand. I would just get.
Yeah, it was very. It's not
because
something
you have no power.
Yeah, and it's like
all
you
about
shouldn't.
Power. It's all about the power dynamic with him. That's why he wears those tight fucking shirts. That's why he walked around like his shit didn't stink. And that's why he won every single little battle. He was, and I part of me respects it. Part of me respects that.
Yeah, but it's like not like
we're fucking children.
Yeah, but also like I felt like it was kind of like bullshit because it wasn't something I hadn't seen him since then. So I get maybe it's like you said, oh, been a long time since I've seen you. Like I'm glad I'm glad you're doing, like, how are you doing? And you said, I'm glad I hear you're doing well. Like, you've really taken to, your major, whatever. Because it was the first semester of college. There were kids, obviously, you might know this, Tyler, our year. There was a kid that lived in one of the dorms for, like, literally 3 days and then moved out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and then someone that we
like
know
that.
moved in from our building on campus to the other building. It was like the one floor with the boys.
Mm-hmm.
They moved in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the kid was there for like 3 days, packed up and left.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, there were a couple people that like did that.
Yeah.
There were a couple
I
people
had
that
some
left after
kids-
first semester.
I had some kids that didn't make it a full semester that I was friendly with that I wish would have stayed around or left after a year, That's the thing, right? That doesn't make it a very welcoming location when you have people that act like that.
Yeah, and it's like, I give it one semester. Like, the first semester, you get a pass. I feel like.
Mhm.
Maybe if you're like...
Within reason.
Yeah, if you're failing all of your classes, like, that's one thing. But, you're trying to figure it out. If you fuck up and do some weird shit, you know what I mean? Like,
It shouldn't follow you.
it shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. It's weird. It's fucking weird. And it was just
Again, within reason.
Yeah.
Some shit is wrong.
Yeah, obviously. Grade, I'd say grade-wise and, like, conduct-wise. There are things that you can do that would say, you probably, conduct-wise, you can do some stuff where you shouldn't even be around regular people. You should be in fucking jail.
Yeah.
But-
Experiments on dead birds.
Yeah.
That happens.
Also sex crimes.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like...
Love being on the receiving
but
end of one of those.
I just like that he said that after all those years, and it was about something that, like, we tried to go and get in some kayaks. Our place of learning was near a lake, a large lake, one of the largest lakes in the state.
One of the largest lakes in the history of lakes.
Yeah, it's also the deepest
Probably
lake
ever.
in that state.
One of the deepest, so deep. One of the wettest in terms.
There's
of
like
water.
there's like a World War II like plane in the bottom of that lake.
No way.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, there's like a plane
We
at the
should go
bottom.
snorkeling.
Yeah, we're gonna go snorkeling
Yeah.
and down in that lake. Dude, they fish for like fucking landlocked salmon in that lake. It's
Yeah,
so
they do.
fucking deep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was weird. And like, I would say there were things that I would have done. I carried a lot from my high school and like my home, like up there that I probably shouldn't have. I should have left it in high school, but what's done is done, and I think I'm in a better place now. But that always rubbed me the wrong way.
Oh yeah, here it is. I see an image of it. Royal Navy Corsair.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just like, and we had gone to get the kayaks, but they weren't doing it because there was like a party down there, and it was like very weird, and they told us we couldn't go down there, and like I don't know. The lake should have been a place that the students were allowed to use, and we just wanted to say that like we didn't appreciate that because that's what we wanted to do on a Saturday. You know, we wanted to get some beers and kayak around. Obviously, like, you know, that's what we wanted to do. We just wanted to have a good Saturday day, and it got like kind of ruined. I don't know. It was just very weird. It was very weird. And then he made that comment.
Leaves a bad taste in the mouth.
Yeah, and the whole meeting went nowhere. So it was like he just like started it off on a bad foot. Yeah, that guy was like kind of a prick, but he's gone now from the place of learning.
Yeah, have fun in St. Paul, you fucking. Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow.
Oh God.
Yeah, I have a lot of hate in my heart, and I'm trying to. I hope someday to move beyond it, but I do.
No, dude, there were a lot of people that did you dirty.
I hold on to grudges.
Over there.
I hold on to grudges.
No, there were a lot of people that did you dirty there, but I expect nothing less. Overall, I think it was a good place, and I had a lot of good times. But there were a number of people that were
irredeemable.
Irredeemably
cruel.
And I think like that's like everywhere, but it was just
because of how small and the proximity.
Yeah, and everyone knew everyone.
Mm-hmm. Everyone was involved in each other's business.
Yeah.
It's not conducive to being able to like explore and find yourself, you know.
Yeah, if you were at a bigger college, like you could get away with doing things that I know some people tried to do. You know, and there are some interesting stories that happened over the course of my 4 years that you know, maybe we'll talk about after. I can tell Tyler one that's pretty good.
Oh boy!
There is one that's really good.
My mind is racing.
I could tell you two ones that are really, really good that I'm not gonna fucking tell on.
I have one that's really good that I'm probably thinking what you're thinking right now.
I'm terrified.
But like,
no,
like,
I think.
And
you're
there's
right.
a lot of shit that like, there's some shit that happened at the school. Because obviously, is he allowed?
Oh yeah, he's fine. He's
there's
making
like
himself comfortable.
I lived with my friend who was an RA, my senior year.
I mean, look, of all the things that happened to me, what was done unto your RA, infinitely worse.
It was vile,
upsetting, you know, and disturbing.
And it was by
similar individuals.
Yeah.
Again, somebody who have bad mouth willingly on this podcast, so.
I mean, like,
go back and look for it.
But see, the thing is like, so I would hear stuff that would happen. You know, obviously, like, he was a smart kid, and years later, he's told me, you know, some things, just because, like, the nature of the time, like, he'll go, oh, you remember the time that I went out in the middle of the night? Yeah, that happened, and I was like, oh, like, I remember hearing, and he was like, this is, like, what actually happened, and now it really doesn't matter, you know, most of the time, we don't even discuss things like that because it's not really even worth it.
Right.
It was so long ago, but like he would like, you know, he would come in my room and just say like, you know, I just had to do this, and like, you know, you're gonna probably fucking hear about it. So like, don't pretend like you don't know. Because that's how small the school was. Like everybody knew when like there was like a bust on campus for like drugs or like, you know, the sheriff showed up. You know, everybody fucking knew what was going on.
Some instances with the sheriff, when I was like a freshman, there was an individual on the lam, let's call it, with a girlfriend at the college.
Yeah, at the
that shit was insane.
They were like chasing him.
Yeah, chasing him through the woods,
jumping out of windows, dude.
Second story.
Yeah, he jumped like 25 feet, dude.
Did a fucking combat roll, thankfully hit the bushes, combat rolled, popped up, and took off into the woods.
That was all adrenaline.
Yeah.
That was all adrenaline.
Insane.
I didn't see it firsthand. I saw a video of it. There was a video going around of it.
I don't think I was there. I think I might have saw the same video.
It was on Snapchat.
Yeah, I think I saw the video.
We didn't go out that night for some reason. The people that we were friends with, that I was associated with.
Was that your freshman year? Or was that your sophomore year?
No, that was my sophomore
year.
year.
That was my freshman year. Okay.
So yeah. I was a little more associated with the people that I knew that could let us into that building.
That area. You had access.
I had access.
I remember my first weekend there. I was riding high. I thought it was a cool cat. I went right up to the door of the room, the block of rooms that my brothers lived in, and I heard a party going on. It was literally the first weekend. I knock on the door. Some kid I had never seen before opens the door, looks at me, looks at the people I was with, closes the door. I was just like, whoa, this is not the school I thought it was going to be.
You thought you were going to go in and they were going to be like,
Hey,
whoa,
you!
Paulie!
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And they open the door and everyone's like, what do you need, Paul?
Well, I mean,
There's
that was,
some like,
there were rooms, there were places I would go where that would be how it was. Well, it was much later on. You had to earn that, you know? Going into the girls' pod, that was always a fucking treat. You needed your tires pumped. You just walk into the girls' pod. Everyone was like reaching at me like I was
my
like,
God, Paul, you're
it was
so
like,
beautiful.
It was like being Elvis. It was great. It was great. I was giving out silk scarves, you know?
You were like, hey, baby, see you in 5. Fluff the pillows for me. Hey, you just do your like best Andrew Dice Clay impression. Just like, oh, hey,
Oh,
baby.
hey.
Looking fine.
I would walk in, you know.
You're not wearing black. You're not wearing a black crop top with Converse. Oh, hey, you're sticking out. I like it, baby. Meet me in your room. Fluff the pillows. Take down that tapestry. I'm sick of seeing it. You got the same one as everybody.
Yeah, seriously. Every fucking white
It's like
bitch
I'm doing doggy and I'm staring at the same thing. Oh, ah.
over and over again.
It gets boring. I start to lose my mind. I think about jumping out the window. Hoping
Combat
I hit
rolling in the bushes.
No, hope I hit the pavement.
Take off into the woods.
It's like you just say like the most convoluted way of saying I was gonna kill myself from looking at the fucking tapestry.
Oh,
You're like, too many tapestries, baby. You gotta take it down. Put a new one up.
Same.
I'll get you a Picasso. You're just handing out paintings. You're like, put this up when we're banging, baby.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was I have a lot of in the post-mortem of my time in college. I feel a lot of things were perfect. Couldn't have been better. And there were in the same breath, a lot of things that were well out of my control that could not have gone worse. And there really wasn't much in between. The highs were immaculate, but the lows, you felt like you were just totally alone against it.
Like drinking Carlo Rossi
and watching
watching Godfather 3.
No, we watched
Devil's Advocate.
Well,
Well, your roommate was that the time we watched Godfather 3 when our friend was asleep?
Billy fell asleep.
Yeah.
We didn't say his name.
That was mad funny. He was like, dude, like literally, Tyler, I was like walking around Paul's room, like just doing saying crazy shit. And this girl walks in, and I'm like in the middle of telling Paul something, and Billy's asleep, and she just like looks at Billy, and she's like, "Oh, Billy's asleep," and I was like, I like turned to her and was like, "Get out!" Like I wanted to say, "Get out!"
I definitely heard most of the crazy shit you said.
You forget he was my next
Oh,
door
yeah,
neighbor.
that's right.
I live next door.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I was just like walking around the room, like just shouting, like the Ayatollah's gonna
Very
come
similar.
after you. And like this girl
Unity in
walks
progress.
in. This girl walks in and just like, oh, Billy's asleep, and I got like a Miller Lite in one hand, and I'm talking
And a
about
glass of the Carlo in the
and
other.
no, and I'm eating Chinese food, and I'm talking about like Gaddafi, like hit squad, and I almost said like, hey, Midge, get out, but I was like, oh, this is like one of Paul's, like I can't, I'm gonna start like World War VIII if I'm like actually like a piece of
I
shit.
think it was Meg.
Yeah, she was like checking on him, and I was
It
like,
could have been anybody.
I was like,
It was one of the girlfriends.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's like, yeah, he's asleep. And we're just in here having a good time.
Yeah,
She
you
was
were
like,
you were basically being like,
you were like,
like
yeah,
a cigarette out of the corner of his mouth, just like super lucid,
And I was like, yeah, he's asleep. We're having a great time.
Meanwhile, I'm just in the corner, just like shoveling facefuls of fucking Chinese in my mouth, watching Godfather for the 1000th time.
I'd come back from my fucking like car rides I used to always go on. I would just hear Godfather and Will. It's great.
Like I think when I like he had the heart attack, I just go because we were watching Godfather 3.
Yeah, we're watching.
And
the
Michael has the heart attack, and I was like, "Oh wow!" And like Tyler probably heard me going, "Oh And Billy's like, ugh. Dude, he literally slapped him
Through the whole movie. He fell asleep 20
you
minutes
like
in.
slammed something, like you had like a ball and we were like fucking around with the ball and I slammed it on the ground and hit the ceiling, came back down.
That kid could sleep
Dude,
through World War
I think
III.
I threw something at him. And he was still asleep.
Yeah.
It was awful.
It was
Dude, there could have been like a nuclear accident
holocaust,
caused, and
yeah.
he would sleep through it.
Yeah. I remember once, I shouldn't, this isn't bad mouthing him, but I shouldn't tell stories about him without him on. I feel like we need to have him on at one point. But he liked to fall asleep to stuff to like watching or listening to YouTube.
Yeah.
And I have this image on my phone. It was on my Snapchat. See if I can track it down here. He fell asleep listening to a 3-hour compilation of scary, camping stories. So I walk into the room, and I was out that night, so I walk into the room, and...
My phone just said, can I plug in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have my plug over there, too, if you need that one. Whichever one works.
This one works.
Any port in a storm, eh? So I walk in, and... he had his phone going, and I was like, oh, okay, he's just listening to something on YouTube. So, I laid down, and it was midnight, 1 o'clock. It was late. He was already asleep. And so I'm like, oh, he's just listening to some YouTube or whatever. And so I go to lay down. I'm sitting there. And then the story ends. I was like, wow, that was kind of a scary story. And I was like, well, at least it's over. And then another story started. I was like, shit, man, he's listening to another story, man? What? And this proceeded to happen 3 times. And then it was 25 minutes into the video when I went over to him, looked at him, found out he was asleep, saw that there was another 3 hours and change of this compilation of 50 true, terrifying, middle of nowhere and deep woods stories. Mega compilation. Parenthesis, scary. And it was 12:17 in the morning at that point. So I turned it off and I sent him a Snapchat. And it was of the video. And I said, Bill, what the fuck do you fall asleep to? I was over there shitting my pants. Trying to fall asleep with these videos on. And then the next morning he's like, oh, I had a timer set up. It was only going to go for 20 minutes. And I was like, well, I was there for 20 minutes. And it did not.
It's like, dude, I get to the story where the guy was chopping people up.
And I said, no more.
No more.
It was mostly Native American ghouls,
like Wendigo.
Yeah, and Indian burial ground shit.
Like Pet Cemetery type.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And so I was just like, nope, absolutely not. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to let it happen. We're not going to let this happen anymore. It's over. We're done. It's happened, and it's never going to happen. Yeah, I swear to God, that was.
And
I also have other videos of him.
If that's the worst thing that he did, as a roommate.
I have other videos of him. Tyler.
Show Will that.
I will show him
it.
off the pod. Off the podcast, I will show that one.
That's hilarious, dude.
That I can't believe I still
remember
have that.
when we watched the Super Bowl all together?
Oh, that was a great time.
And I was getting upset about Big Boy.
Yeah.
Big boy. No big boy.
No, he came out at the end, dude. It stunk.
Greatest of all time. Man, I had such a great time in college. now that we were swapping stories, I forget about how much fun we had your senior year, Tyler.
Yeah.
And your senior year, Will. I mean, you lived right down the hall. You hung out with us quite a bit. It was such an amazing time. We had a great time, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was
a good time.
I wish some of the other shit didn't occur.
True.
The Coven.
Oh, well, that didn't help. I don't even that doesn't even, I remember being really upset about graduation and all that stuff, being a senior in 2020 and feeling like I had an incomplete experience. But when I look back at it now, it really doesn't factor into.
Yeah, and you guys had your junior year, you guys had a nice group of
My senior living situation, it was about 50%.
Yeah.
It was different. It was the same, a lot of the same people, a lot of the same ingredients, but the magic was gone, There was something about that crew that we had your senior year, Tyler, that just
I would say our
it was
senior
fucking
year,
special.
it was like the perfect living situation that possibly could have had.
You had there was never a dull moment when this asshole was around. Okay,
Never a dull
he was
moment.
right down the hall. I could go bother him whenever I wanted to.
Oh yeah.
Just
Dude,
get
I
a big
remember I
stick
used
and
to,
poke him.
Do you remember when like me and Bobby just walked in on you?
Oh yeah, a couple of times.
Billy would just let us in.
Yeah.
Like he would come
You
around.
turn the corner with the biggest fucking smiles on your faces. I'd be sitting in bed. I'd be sitting on the futon, like smoking a cigar out the window, and you two would just walk around the corner. It's like, hey, you know. Always with something about unity and progress.
Citation.
Or like, yeah.
Citation.
Violation.
Violation. Citation warning for smoking natural tobacco in room. Yeah, dude, you were a big like room. You were the only person you'd be the only person to get caught not smoking weed in their room, but smoking a cigar.
Never got caught.
Never, but like that would be the.
That would have happened.
And that would have been hilarious.
Dude,
that would have been hilarious to explain.
Remember that one cigar that I had? The last one I smoked in the dorm room. Like right at the end of the fall, it was getting to the point where it was too cold to leave the windows open.
Yeah,
That tobacco was so vile. It was called the Churchill Deluxe. It was one of the first cigars I had ever smoked, and I was like, I want to have one of these again. And it is just short fucking sandwich filler, gross tobacco.
I remember
it was practically a cigarette.
I remember how fast you got rid of that, and like just
the whole fucking pod smelled like cigarettes for like 2 weeks.
Oh, that's what that smelled like.
Yeah. That was
in the hallway. It was out in the hallway.
Yeah,
we were trying to figure out. Everyone was trying to figure that out.
It was me. I smoked a cigar called the Churchill Deluxe. It's fucking gross, and I'm never gonna.
Was it a machine made?
Yeah, it was gross. It was Cuban sandwich filler. It wasn't a Cuban cigar. The term is like this. It's like the trimmings and shit.
That fall on the floor.
Not that bad, but like the extra leaf that they can't use. They just repackage.
It's almost like the shit that comes in like the giant bags.
Yeah, it's just it was disgusting. It was disgusting. So that was me. Yeah, the whole building smelled like cigarettes for like 2 weeks.
I was thankful that I had like the.
What John just sent me.
Oh, that's good. There are videos of me smoking cigars out the window. I can see if I can track one.
There's one of the pipe. I remember that one.
I could never keep the pipe lit. I wish I was better with the pipe. Yeah, here's one of me smoking the pipe in the room. Just in the fucking doorway. No, this video is of me like trying to light it. It's in the montage of me lighting up a cigarette in the room, or a cigar rather, in the room.
That's like dangerous.
Yeah, probably wasn't the smartest move.
And not like you would set the dorm room on fire like some people.
But you just asking for fucking trouble.
Whoops.
It wasn't you. You weren't there.
Whoops to whoever did it.
Then when I got Super Smash Brothers in the grab bag, oh man,
I still can't believe that happened.
It was in Melee.
Yeah,
that's like $50 without the case.
Yeah, I know. I got it in a grab bag for $3 with like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4.
How did they end up doing that?
I think it got traded in without the case, and there's no other way to sell it. But like,
they stopped doing those, didn't they?
I haven't seen one in a long time.
Because we would try to search for them almost every time that we'd go into that bullhouse.
We walked out, and I opened the bag, and I looked in the bag, and I saw the red label. And I was just like, oh, a red label. Like, wouldn't it be funny if that's Melee? And it was the last one in the stack, and I was like, Madden 07, meh. Sonic Gems Collection, meh. Like, Charlie and the... No, it wasn't Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. What was the other one?
You had Tony Hawk in that same pack, and you're like, oh,
Madden
Tony
07.
Hawk.
Yeah, I was fired up for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 because I hadn't had a copy of it yet. And then the last one was Melee, and I was just like, whoa.
And then here I was buying PlayStation 4.
We used to buy those all the time. I flipped some of the games.
Smart.
I should have.
I repackaged and made some money on most of mine. I needed the Smash Melee. I had a case, manual, everything from my childhood copy. And
Bob would flip them. Bob made like a lot of money.
Yeah, smart.
Some of the games in those packs, not to cut you off, but some of the games in the packs like sneakily were worth like money.
A lot of money.
Yeah,
like it's all because they got traded in loose. There's no other way to sell it.
Yeah. So if you could get the case We did it one time where I think he got the case and the game and like put them together and resold it for like 50, 60 bucks. And the case and the stuff wasn't that expensive.
Smart. Very smart.
But like,
I resold some things. Like I got like a GameCube branded CD case, and I put a bunch of the loose ones that I'd had in that and made like $40 on everything. Like I would probably sold it for like 65, but I was only in it for like 20. So yeah, I mean it was definitely a nice little cottage industry to make some booze money. But yeah, no. So what was I saying? Shit, I don't remember I was in the middle of something and I don't remember what it was now. Mustn't have been important.
when you got Melee.
Oh yeah, I had my childhood copy of Melee, but the disc was so scratched up, and I tried to get it resurfaced several times, and it just wasn't working. So this disc just replaced my broken disc, and I had everything else there. So it was like immediately I just like fucking made like 500% on my investment, and now it's worth even more because of COVID, and everyone wants to play video games again. But
Yeah.
okay.
Also, like, don't for tournaments they use like an online version of it.
Technically, yeah.
Because like the game, like the game, like the original game is like very buggy. So
A little bit.
Yeah.
and so they like tried to fix that with it, and also that one promotes like online play. So during COVID, they could do like online tournaments.
Yeah, but it got shut down by Nintendo.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Fucking assholes. All right, my audio recorder is gonna die here shortly. So I think
let's
maybe,
wrap it up, and then we'll
maybe
tell
it's time
some
to wrap it up.
off the camera stories.
Yeah, that will work for me. You guys have anything to plug? Any final thoughts? How was that Cuban? Was that your first?
Yeah, that was the first time I ever had a Cuban.
I should have given you the Monte Cristo to start. I'm
It
sorry.
was amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Very good.
I was worried there with the construction up front.
No, it was good. It was like it was a lot. I honestly like them more than New World cigars because they're like. It's not as heavy.
It's it's classic.
Yeah, it's just very like elegant and like those are the flavors. It's not like I don't really smell it on my clothes.
It's not trying to do too much
No.
either, you know. Like I hate cigars that transition 4 times throughout the course of smoking, and it starts with like a wood and earth, and then it transitions to like a sweet coffee note, and then it turns to it's like too much. Just give me one thing that maybe one transition or like something a flavor profile texture gets added. Don't take something else away, but something gets added.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit more complex as you continue. But I hate when there's a point where cigars become too creative. You know.
No, I agree.
So I think that Habanos does it right. Those state-owned fucking assholes over there in Cuba. But I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I was worried because you started to canoe, but I think we were able to get that fixed.
No,
quickly.
that was just like the lighter or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Should have brought your matches.
No, I did. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's good. I enjoy lighting with the blue flame lighter. I don't mind it. You just have to be smart.
Yeah, you have to be careful because you don't want to just burn.
Yeah, you don't want to torch it.
Yeah, because that really ruins it. No, but it was good. It was good.
Good.
It was good. It was definitely like I think, especially in a longer format. I think like bigger format and like longer, like a Lusitania. We had like the 898. I bet you like that's like a 2.5 hour smoke.
Probably. Yeah.
That's probably like lights out because it probably stays the same. It's like consistent. That's why I think the thing is it's consistent. It's also like the nicotine isn't like. Dude, those cigars that we smoked the last time you guys were down, the two of you were down.
Yeah.
Like, dude, my head was like humming afterwards.
Oh, the Julius Caesar? Yeah, that was a little. It got full bodied by the end.
Yeah.
I enjoy. That's what I love about the Monte Cristos, man. Is even the New Worlds as well, and perhaps even especially, but the Cuban ones, you're really not going to be like out of your head, you know. It really they take care to make it so that it's not just like. It's not a nicotine delivery device. It's an
And
elegant...
also, like, natural tobacco shouldn't have a lot of nicotine in it. And it should have no pesticides.
You have the pesticides. But, I mean, you had the Romeo
And those were
Reservas.
old, man, though. You had those for a while, right?
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. I'm just saying.
If anything, it helps. Yeah, I still have a few. Still have a few in the humidor up north.
You trying to dump them?
Pretty much, yeah. Liam Nee smokes one every time we play golf. I always bring him out like, hey, you want a Romeo? He's like, fuck, I love those. They take forever to smoke, but I love them. And I'm like, here, have at
That's
it.
what you should want on the golf course. You want something that at least lasts like 9-10 holes.
No, I prefer something that I can get through. It gives me a little. That's why I like the. I don't love the Rocky Patel, those little short 55s, because the smoke just, if you try to hold it in your mouth while you're playing, it just gets all up in your grill.
Yeah, that's what I don't like. That's why I like longer cigars.
But if it's longer, I feel like I'm gonna knock it with my hands.
You know what? I didn't have that problem with was the Liga that I had. That was the Perfecto.
The pigtail.
Yeah, the pigtail
Yeah,
Perfecto.
man. I need to get my hands on one of those. I've never had a Liga Bravado.
They're at the I got it at the shop downtown.
In our town?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's where I got it.
Really? The one with the one near the organization that my dad goes to.
Yeah.
Really?
In downtown, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I guess I'll have to go over there.
Yeah.
I remember them not having a great selection.
They were pretty cleaned out when I went at the beginning of the pandemic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they were. I've only been in there like twice or 3 times. So I guess I'm gonna have to give it another try. I mean, it all depends on when you go for any of these places, right? So, but anyway. Anything, T, to finish on?
Romeo and Juliet's are overrated.
I mean, I didn't tell you it was a good cigar. I told you it was an okay cigar.
Yeah, it's a New World. It's one of the I think American.
Well, I mean, Romeo. There are Cuban Romeos, but the
Yeah.
Romeo, the reserve. I gave him a fucking shitty Reserva that was like, I got like, those massive Churchills were like $6. I got like a box of 25 or 30 for like $100. It was very much not like
Yeah, the New World, like even the New World Cohibas are like.
Not
I don't know how they sell those in other countries without violating like copyright.
Well, they don't have the same branding.
Yeah, but I think the name, I think it's a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, because the Cohibas in America now are like Red Dot, you know.
Yeah,
that junk.
Dude, the real McCoy.
I thought about buying, but they're just too expensive. Siglos, too expensive. Not worth it. Not worth it at all. Sorry, Tyler, I stepped on your bit. What were you saying?
You're good. It's just about the Romeos, and never the best, but you get through with what you can get through.
Suppose that's fair.
Free Jack Harlow. That's what we're gonna end with.
That dude with his, I'm gonna call it a marginally offensive accent.
Yeah. I would see videos of him of 12 years old. Yeah, I would say that.
Jesus Christ. All right, well.
He's been rapping since he was 12.
Free Jack.
Free Josh Gordon. Free Josh Gordon.
Free Flash.
Free Flash.
Free him. Free him. Ooh, that's cool. All right.